Hi everyone, in this video we are going to discuss the UV index, particularly in the context of skin cancer. So at this point, hopefully we all are very comfortable with the fact that ozone and oxygen can absorb UV radiation and protect humans on Earth from these dangerous high energy waves. And so what we need to do now is understand to what extent do they protect us. And it turns out that the concentration of oxygen and the concentration of ozone up in the stratosphere directly above our city, so wherever it is that we live, is super, super important. And so what the EPA did back in 1992 is they developed this index as a way to communicate with the general public and let them know, like, hey, you live in Austin, you're in great shape today. Or hey, you live in Australia, you need to cover up, you need to wear sunscreen. But they needed to find a way to tell people based on their location and where they live whether or not their UV radiation is real dangerous or real safe. And so what they did is they developed this UV index, and it has a number of different categories, and they're all color coded. We want to make it easy, right? So if we give you a UV index or a scale of 1 to 2, that is associated with the color green. And basically it means have fun. You're good to go, you're completely protected, do whatever you want to do today, you're good to go. Now, if we bump it up a notch and go to an index of 3 to 5, this would be yellow, okay? And in here we're saying try to find some shade. When you're outside, try to find some shade, maybe hide underneath a tree, go inside for a few minutes every once in a while, give your skin a break, but you're okay. Like, you shouldn't be scared for your skin or anything of that sort. But then we jump to a range of 6 to 7. Now 6 to 7 would be orange, and in this part we tell you to start covering up. So we're saying wear a hat, wear sunscreen, very important, and definitely wear sunglasses. You can't forget about your eyes, and we'll talk about this in just a second, okay? But it also starts telling you that between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., you need to start considering to take cover. So between that time, minimize the amount of time that you're outside. All right, so then we're going to ramp it up again. So now we're going to look at the scale between 8 and 10. Now 8 to 10 is considered red, okay, or very, very high. And so for this part, what we need you to do is to avoid bright surfaces. Now when I say bright surfaces, I mean white sand. So if you're out on a beach in Mexico having a fabulous vacation, if your sand is white, you need to take extra precaution because that's going to reflect that UV radiation right back up at you. So you're essentially getting hit twice as hard. So you need to be careful. In this time, we are definitely saying minimize as much as possible the amount of time you're spending between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Now, let's move to the most extreme case. So this is with a UV index of 11 or higher. This would be considered purple, so purple is really bad in this context. And it is basically saying your skin will burn in minutes. Okay, minutes. That's such a tiny amount of time. You could run outside to the mailbox and back, probably be fine as long as your mailbox is at the end of the driveway. If it's down the street, if you live in an apartment complex and you have to go get it, your skin could legitimately burn in that amount of time. And so they are straight up saying avoid the sun between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Like, do not be outside between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. because the UV radiation is so strong and so dangerous. So let me ask you a question now that we've gone through the UV radiation. Should you pay attention to your local, that's a very important part, UV, we're just going to call them ratings for right now. Go. Did you get an answer? Hopefully you did. The answer is yes. Yes, you need to pay attention to your local UV rating. So this is what's going to tell you what you need to do for the day. So if you're hitting scales from orange, red, or purple, you know you're wearing a hat, sunscreen, and sunglasses the entire time for any amount of time that you're outside. If you're in the purple range, you're like, I need to do everything I can to be at work or be at school or wherever it is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I'm going to do everything possible to stay inside. Okay, that's how bad this UV radiation actually is. Now, why? Why is it so bad? Well, if you recall, when we have an atom and a bond, we're going to do this type of structure. When this is hit by UV radiation, a number of different things can happen. But in the worst case scenario, that bond actually breaks. Okay, so you have a break in the bond. So now you have one atom by itself and another atom by itself. It's no longer diatomic. Now, when this happens, okay, so this bond break, when this happens within a DNA molecule, we're going to be specific here, of a skin cell. This is what causes cancer, okay? Specifically, and this is probably obvious, skin cancer. So we need to be super, super careful to protect ourselves from UV radiation because it will cause skin cancer. Now, here are some facts about skin cancer that we need to understand. Okay, skin cancer. Number one, the most people that are susceptible for it are if you're older. Okay, so older people are in the worst case. But that is a result of residual sun damage that they've had throughout their years. And so they've literally been on Earth longer, so they've been exposed to the sun longer. It's literally as simple as that. But you just have to protect your skin. Second, we need to be aware of these harmful UVB rays. Know that UVA is definitely a player in this, and it definitely causes a little bit of skin damage, but it's really these UVB ones that are causing tons and tons of skin cancer. Now, third one, there are 3 different types of cells that can cause cancer if they've done damage to them. Here's the first one, okay? First one, BASAL, okay? I don't know how to say any of these cells. I am not a biologist. I don't even know if that would be the right field to know this, but here are the 3 types of cells that can hurt you. The last one is the one I actually care about. It is, here is the word, okay, I'm spelling it out. You've probably heard it referred to as melanomas, okay? Melanomas are the ones that are deadly. These 2 up here, when you have any damage to that, they are not normally fatal, okay, but they're still not good. So we're just going to put not good for these 2, but for the last one, it's definitely deadly. Do you need to know these exact cells? No, absolutely not. I don't even know how to say them. But you do need to understand that one of these, the melanomas, will actually kill you. So do you need to pay attention to me right now? Absolutely. Here's why. Here is how we protect ourselves. Protection. Number 1, and I feel like this is obvious, avoid tanning beds. Avoid tanning beds, avoid tanning rooms. I don't even know, just avoid it. Here's the thing. In tanning beds, they use UVB rays and UVA rays. So you are in a bed where they're literally shooting you with poison. That would be the same thing as like taking a bottle of something that has poison in it and being like, I'm sure it's okay, and just drinking it. Or it's, in my opinion, in the same boat as smoking a cigarette, okay? Don't do it. There's nothing good that can come from going to a tanning bed. Even that misconception about going to a tanning bed before you go on an exotic vacation because you want to protect your skin and get a base tan, that's not true. It's not good for you. It's never, ever good to expose yourself to UVB rays, ever. So just don't go. Please don't go. Okay, I'm off my tangent for that one. Number 2, you must wear sunscreen or sunblock. Okay, there is a difference between the 2, and I don't really expect you to know the difference, but you should be kind of familiar with it. Sunscreen is the most common one. It normally reflects UV rays, but sometimes it absorbs them. It really just depends on which one you're talking about. Sunblock is typically made up with really neat nanoparticles. And so these nanoparticles just absorb the UV radiation, but the problem is then that nanoparticle is still sitting on your skin. Totally fine, totally harmless, unless maybe you jump off a cliff or something, you go cliff jumping into the water, and you cut your arm. Now there's an option for those nanoparticles to get into your skin. Do you want titanium oxide in your skin? No. Do you want zinc inside of your body? No. So sunblock is really, really good for you until the second you injure yourself. So for me personally, I tend to just wear sunscreen, but I wear it every day. I have my moisturizer has sunscreen in it, so I constantly have at least SPF 15, if not SPF 30 on all the time. But I also live in Austin, so I'm more susceptible to being burned. Okay, so we just have to be super careful with it. Now, the last thing, and this is one that is more important than people believe, you need to invest in a high quality pair of sunglasses, okay? You want sunglasses that absorb the UVB and the UVA rays, okay? They can do this up to about 99%, so get quality sunglasses. The $3, $4 ones, they're not going to cut it. You want the quality ones. I know they're expensive. I know we always lose them, but you need to do this to protect your eyes. Here's why. If you don't, you can develop cataracts. And for those of you who don't have a grandpa that has cataracts, basically what it is a clouding of the lens in your eye which is not good because you only have 2 eyes. It's incredibly difficult to fix cataracts. It really depends on your eye quality. Sometimes you can fix it, sometimes you can't. You just need to be careful. So here are the 3 things I'm going to go on a tangent about forever and ever and ever. So here we go. Avoid a tanning bed. Don't you dare go to a tanning bed and never ever admit to me that you've been to a tanning bed. Number 2, wear sunscreen every single day, especially those of you that live in Texas. The sun is hot for us. We need to be careful. We need to protect ourselves. Number 3, wear sunscreen, especially those of you who have light eyes like me. Your eyes are going to be vulnerable to it. It's really, really bright. You're constantly trying to protect yourself from those rays. Wear sunglasses, wear sunscreen. Don't you dare go to a tanning bed. Have a good day, guys.